My name is Aileen Barr. I'm from Buncrana originally, and now I'm living in San Francisco. I've been living in San Francisco for 16 years. I studied ceramics at NCAD in Dublin, and from there, when I was in my 20s, I went to New York for a couple of years. And I had been making pots in college, but I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do for a living. So when I was in New York, I came across people who were tile makers. I thought that's something that I could pursue. So I taught myself a lot about how to make tiles. And then when I came back to Ireland in my late 20s, I started Artlink. I founded Artlink with two other artists, Barrett and Spillane. And from there, I was able to experiment more, doing tile making, and create projects for myself within the community, where we created public art pieces using tile. I was always interested in public art. I like the idea of taking art out of galleries and museums and making it part of people's everyday life. So working within Artlink at the beginning, that was a really good place to start that type of practice. One of the first projects that I did was called Art in the Park, and I worked with a group of young women. We created tiles within Swan Park and a seating area. And for me, that was the first major tile project that I did, where I was creating tile for a specific place. So I was learning as I was going, and it was a really successful project. It was there until recently, till the floods. My art practice in San Francisco, it's nearly all public art. Working in parks, staircases, community centres, and again in places, finding art in places where you wouldn't normally find it. So not in big, busy downtown areas, but maybe in smaller suburban areas, in smaller parks that you wouldn't be expecting to find that kind of work. And I like that idea that people could just come across it by accident and see a piece of work that's going to fit into its environment, that is site specific. And I'm also interested, because now I'm working in an urban setting and I'm really a country girl. I like that idea of introducing nature, natural forms within urban settings, because I never really thought I would end up living in a city, and I do love it. San Francisco is a beautiful place to live, but there's lots of hard edges. So I like that idea of creating art where people will experience nature and appreciate it. Most of the projects that I do have community engagement in it at some level. My projects come from, sometimes I'm commissioned by the San Francisco Arts Commission. Sometimes a community group will approach me to do a project that they'll have to fundraise for. I also do private commissions. And in all of those, there is some sort of community aspect to it, where you might be, first of all, just talking to the community about what they want. Any design work that I would do, I would go back to them, and there would be a back and forth in that. And then when I'm actually doing the physical work, and it is a very physical thing to make tiles and install them, I would try in some form to get people involved in that part of the process. They could make tiles, they make stamps for making tiles. Sometimes they're involved in the mosaic aspect of it, because I combine mosaic with handmade tile. And I like that part of it, because then the community have some part of ownership to it. The second project that I did in San Francisco, the 16th Avenue Tile Steps, that was a community project where they were looking for artists to come up with a design to do mosaic onto the staircase. And part of that process was that we facilitated 3 workshops, and the community came together and helped with the mosaic in that. It became their project, so it's become part of their neighborhood. And I'm still involved with those people. I still know those people, so it creates community for me as well as an artist. It creates connections for me. I like the idea that I create a piece of art and it's there and I'll see it a lot, and I know the people who are interacting with it and I hear from them, so that it creates connections that go on from that. that first project, the 16th Avenue tile steps, like for probably 7 years after it, another group of neighbours in that area contacted again, and they wanted us to do another project. So it, you know, creating those kind of connections, you're part of the community. Yeah. Artlink is a very different organisation from when we started it in the 90s. Our focus would have been on workshops and creating connections with the community, and providing opportunities for people to get involved in different projects and different classes. So now it's become an organisation more for artists, and that I think is really important, because there are a lot more people in this area now really involved in the arts, and they use it really well. So I'm excited to be a part of that, and to connect again with people who want to learn about ceramics, who want to learn about tile making, who want to learn about mosaic. There's great opportunities there. So yeah, for me it's been very exciting coming back again. I wasn't sure how it was going to be. You know, I hadn't spent time in Dunree before. I didn't know what your setup was. So I feel like I've come in and kind of had time to explore how you work, how this organisation works, just about your studio spaces. It was nice to be able to set up the kiln and all the equipment that we need, and hopefully it'll all be used by more people coming through here. It'll add another dimension for you. And then because I visit Buncrana a lot, it'll be another dimension for me too. I'll be able to come back here and do more stuff. So I think it's really important in this organisation's development now that you have more facilities available, and a lot of that comes from artists coming to visit and adding skills, allowing you to add more resources that people can use when they come here. So for instance, now you have a kiln set up, you have the slab roller, you have facilities for artists to come and do that type of work. And if another artist in a residency doesn't have a focus just on ceramics but wants to use it, that's a real attraction for them to come to do that. And then for the community, people can come here and hopefully do some sort of workshops or classes and use all those facilities. So you're building on things all the time, and creating a more dynamic organisation that's going to be used by artists, going to become well known for artists, and also the community is going to get great use out of it. Dunree itself is such a beautiful place to come to. It's really inspiring, and any artist who would come here would be inspired to create some kind of work. And I think everybody would come out with different, would approach it in different ways. So you're providing the artist with a really important, how do I say that? You're allowing the artist to come to a place that's going to inspire them, and the outcomes are going to be different each time. And I can't imagine any other place that an artist could come to as beautiful as this. The resources that you have are limited, but still there's a lot that you can do within it. Yeah. And I mean, Artlink is an organisation that is 26 years old and has taken many forms and has weathered many storms in lots of ways, and it's still going, and it'll be thriving again. Yeah. With these residencies, I think that's really important. I think that's a good way to keep the organisation alive, and inject in new inspiration, new ways of working, connecting with your community and challenging them as well, with different artists coming doing different types of projects. And I mean, even doing this residency with Anise, I mean, we're totally different artists, the way we work, but there was points of connection there, and I could see, you know, maybe down the line doing a project with her, or connecting with her in some way to influence a project, or her with me. So it's nice having that opportunity as an artist, because sometimes you do get focused in on your own work, and you don't have time to look outside and see what else you could do. So having a residency like this, I think it's important for artists to have that time to do it.